The silent setup for financial disaster. Low dopamine meets high bankroll. A high bankroll combined with a low dopamine baseline creates a psychological environment that significantly increases the likelihood of reckless financial behavior, addiction-like patterns, and catastrophic losses. Individuals with chronically low dopamine, whether due to stress, depression, ADHD, overstimulation, or withdrawal from high-intensity habits, experience weakened natural reward signals. Everyday activities produce little motivation, pleasure, or excitement, resulting in anhedonia, low drive, and blunted satisfaction. In this state, the brain begins to seek larger, more intense rewards simply to feel anything at all. When this neurochemical vulnerability is paired with a substantial amount of capital, the natural risk barriers that normally prevent extreme decisions begin to erode. Access to large financial resources reduces the emotional pain of loss, enables prolonged risk exposure, encourages unrealistic recovery strategies, such as doubling stakes, and creates a false sense of security. I can afford this, which is especially dangerous under conditions of low dopamine. The combination of low dopamine and high financial capacity often produces rapid escalation. Because dopamine-deficient individuals are less sensitive to typical rewards, they progressively increase the magnitude of their decisions in an attempt to recapture a feeling of excitement. Losses feel particularly severe when dopamine is already low, prompting disproportionate efforts to recover quickly. Meanwhile, dopamine deficits impair the prefrontal cortex, weakening impulse control and the ability to evaluate consequences. When large sums of money are readily accessible, these impairments accelerate poor decisions. Even substantial wins or breakthroughs may feel emotionally flat to someone with low dopamine, which fuels a destructive loop of taking progressively larger risks in hopes of finally feeling a sense of reward. This cycle often continues unchecked until a major loss or collapse interrupts it. Low dopamine itself manifests through a wide array of psychological, cognitive, and physical symptoms that directly increase vulnerability to high-risk behavior. One hallmark feature is an inability to initiate tasks, often described as feeling mentally stuck, despite knowing what needs to be done. This represents executive dysfunction, rather than a lack of effort or discipline. Anhedonia further contributes to withdrawal from previously enjoyable activities, as achievements and positive feedback no longer register emotionally. Mental energy also declines, with individuals struggling to focus, think clearly, or make decisions without feeling disproportionately drained. Low dopamine additionally disrupts anticipation pathways in the brain, making it difficult to feel excitement for future events and fostering emotional flatness unless strong stimulation is present. This blunted reward state increases cravings for high-intensity behaviors. Individuals may feel an increased pull towards speculative financial activity, high-stakes decision-making, over-leveraging, rapid risk cycles, compulsive digital stimulation, sugar, caffeine, or other sources of quick dopamine spikes. These behaviors provide brief relief, but ultimately worsen dopamine imbalance. Sustained attention becomes difficult, leading to incomplete tasks, wandering thoughts, and dependence on external stimulation to stay mentally engaged. Procrastination increases as the brain becomes unable to generate the motivational force needed to initiate tasks, often resulting in guilt or self-criticism. The mood profile associated with low dopamine differs meaningfully from serotonin-driven emotional states. Instead of sadness or anxiety, dopamine depletion produces apathy, boredom, emotional numbness, and a profound lack of drive. Paradoxically, this flatness can intensify impulsivity and risk-seeking. Minor rewards feel meaningless, so individuals chase experiences with greater psychological intensity. This tendency is especially problematic when combined with a high bankroll, as it encourages aggressive decision-making, escalating commitments, and a disregard for long-term outcomes. Low dopamine also disrupts effort regulation. Tasks may feel disproportionately challenging, and individuals may overestimate the energy required to complete them. Major deadlines can be underestimated, while trivial decisions may be overemphasized. Physical symptoms often accompany this state, including cold extremities, reduced libido, slumped posture, slowed movement, reduced facial expression, daytime sleepiness, nighttime alertness, and increased reliance on stimulants. While occasional symptoms may be harmless, Persistent patterns lasting several weeks often signal deeper dopamine dysregulation, commonly linked to chronic stress, burnout, ADHD, depression, overstimulation, nutrient deficiencies, inadequate sleep, or a sedentary lifestyle. When dopamine deficits intersect with the freedom and extended runway provided by a large amount of capital, the consequences can be severe. High bankrolls remove external constraints, while low dopamine removes internal ones. Risk feels muted, rewards feel dull, cravings intensify, and the significance of consequences becomes psychologically distant. This convergence fosters an environment in which impulsive, escalating, and self-destructive financial behaviors flourish unchecked. Individuals may continue taking increasingly large risks, endure prolonged cycles of loss recovery attempts, and sink deeper into both financial and psychological instability. Ultimately, understanding the interaction between neurochemistry and resource availability is essential for explaining why certain individuals are disproportionately vulnerable to extreme financial blow-ups and why effective intervention must address both behavior and dopamine regulation.